complex adaptive systems are a baseline, foundational model for describing many different things happening in the world.
Welcome to another episode of Tea with T. Today I'm here joined with Lasse. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about you, what you do here, and what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, thanks for having me today, T. Today we are going to talk, first starting off with me. My name is Lasse and I'm a STAR student at SAP currently. And I'm currently sitting here in the Singapore office together with you. Which is quite cool because we got the opportunity as a German STAR student to go to Singapore. And yeah, in my STAR program, I'm having 3 years of university, and it is always exchanged with 3 years of rotations at SAP. So we have 3 months of rotations at SAP and 3 months of university, totaling a 3-year period. Yeah.
Very good. And today we want to talk about complex adaptive systems.
Yes, that's right.
And I guess also about bees, right?
That's also right.
All right, let's actually start with complex adaptive systems first. For someone who is not so familiar with the term, in 2-3 sentences, how would you describe or give some examples of a complex adaptive system?
So, for me, complex adaptive systems are a baseline, foundational model for describing many different things happening in the world. Complex adaptive systems are made up of multiple similar agents behaving in an environment or acting in an environment, often defined by quite simple rules. So that's quite an abstract definition. I think it's easier to just look at specific examples. For example, one complex adaptive system would be the stock market. Because in the stock market you have many different agents like traders and companies, and they all have some interaction with each other and are often strongly correlated or connected. And these complex adaptive systems have the property of being highly unpredictable and also highly resilient to many things, which makes it quite a fascinating thing to watch out for when you want to design resilience systems or go into this kind of direction.
So if complex adaptive systems are by definition highly unpredictable, is it then one goal to study the systems in order to predict them better? Or is it something we should just accept as a matter of truth?
That's a good question. And I think that we should accept the nature of being highly unpredictable, since it's not, we don't have the means yet. Maybe quantum computing is doing some kind of end to that, but for now we don't have the means for this yet. And I think the real value in these systems is to A, model them, and B, let agents just live inside of these and watch the actions they do. And by that we can kind of see maybe some kind of probability function or some event that is slightly more likely to occur than another one. And I think that's the most common go-to way for these kind of systems.
Thanks for sharing that. But let's actually really jump into bees.
Yes.
So because when we planned this talk, you said, T, I want to talk about bees and complex adaptive systems. So I guess let's talk a little bit about bee. Maybe, do you actually have any personal connection to?
Sure. So let's talk a bit about how I got into this topic the first hand. And that was actually the bees, because I was quite fascinated with how bees organize themselves. Just the basic foundations of, how does a single worker bee know, I have to collect pollen, I have to bring it back to my hive, and then I somehow have to coordinate all of this to grow up my larvae and reproduce. All this complex system of how does the simple actions of a simple bee actually turns out into this living beehive organism, which is quite cool and can adapt to many situations. It can adapt to diseases, it can adapt to different weathers, it can adapt to different temperatures. And they're actually quite durable, I would say, in itself. And yeah, bees were just the beginning. I then also read a lot about ants and like other animals in that kind of space, which have like the swarm and the colony feeling. So bees are also often praised as these kind of world savers, right? We can't live without bees, it's often being stated. And I think that's just interesting to kind of look at, to get a feel of what bees do and why they do what they do and why they are so important.
Can you maybe share for the ones who may have not heard about the statement, why are bees the world savers? What are the implications if we were not to have bees?
So the ground level for bees is that they basically pollinate all our agricultural products we produce. So as for my German background, I'm more from a rural area, from a village side. And we do have a lot of fields there, which many farmers try to put their crops on and get their crops and the food for the whole population, right? And without bees, there are different kind of crops. Like there's a female and a male crop, and there are also like crops where you can't tell the gender, right? And bees are responsible for transmitting the pollen of the male crop to the female crop, for example. And without them, because they are so tiny and they swarm around these little flowers popping up from crops, and they collect the pollen which is sent out by them, and then they go to another flower, and then they spread the pollen they've collected before to this new crop or flower. And without this system, these crops wouldn't grow and flowers wouldn't grow, and it would be a quite we wouldn't know what would happen since it's a complex system, right? But we wouldn't have the biodiversity and the food safety we have right now.